The massive chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as High Counselor Sixtar raised his three-fingered hand. His gray skin glistened under the pale blue lights as he looked at each of the 11 other council members with his large, unblinking eyes. "We gather today to address the human problem," Sixtar said, his voice translator giving his words a metallic edge. "For 15 years, we have allowed them into our galactic community. This may have been our greatest mistake." Captain John Mason shifted uncomfortably in front of the holographic display. He and diplomat Lisa Carter watched the proceedings from the human embassy on Proxima Centauri, millions of miles from the Council's meeting place. Mason's military uniform felt suddenly tight around his neck. "This doesn't sound good," he whispered to Lisa. Lisa nodded slightly, her eyes never leaving the display. Her years of diplomatic training had taught her to read the subtle body language of alien species. Every tentacle twitch and membrane flutter in that chamber spelled danger. Sixtar touched a control panel, and a three-dimensional star map appeared in the center of the council chamber. Red dots spread across it like a disease. "Human expansion in just 15 years," he said. "They breed rapidly. They adapt to any environment. They modify technologies in ways we never considered." The Xorillian representative, a creature that looked like a giant praying mantis, clicked its mandibles. "They stay within their assigned territories. I see no violation of our agreements." "It is not what they do, but what they are capable of doing," said Grenvac, the leader of the warrior Draxid. His scales bristled as he spoke. "Our xenobiologists have studied them extensively. Humans can survive conditions that would kill most species. They are resourceful beyond reason." Mason leaned toward Lisa. "Did you know they were studying us?" "We knew they were curious," she replied quietly. "Not that they feared us." On the display, Sixtar presented more data. Charts showing human technological advancement rates, population growth projections, military capability assessments. Within a century, they would rival even the Draxid in military power, Sixtar said. Within 3, they could dominate the council itself. Lisa stepped forward, activating her transmission. "High Counselor, if I may speak." The alien eyes turned toward her holographic image. "Humanity has followed every regulation set forth since our acceptance into the galactic community. We have shared our medical advances, our art, our philosophy. We seek only peaceful cooperation." "Your intentions are irrelevant," Sixtar replied coldly. "Your potential is the threat. The Council has preserved peace for 12,000 years by carefully managing the development of all species. Humanity cannot be managed." Mason saw the direction this was heading. His military training had prepared him for many scenarios, but not this one. "We deserve a chance to address these concerns directly," he said, stepping forward. "At least give us time to." "The time for discussion has passed," Sixtar interrupted. "I call for a vote. The classification of humans as a Class X extinction-level threat to galactic stability." Lisa gasped. Class X was the highest threat designation, reserved for species deemed too dangerous to exist. "Extinction? You can't be serious," Mason said, his voice rising. "There are 11 billion of us." "Which is precisely the concern," said Sixtar. "Council members, cast your votes." One by one, the alien representatives touched their voting panels. 10 lights turned red. Only the Vreen, a species of crystalline beings, voted against the measure with a blue light. "The vote is final," Sixtar announced. "Humanity is classified as Class X. The extinction protocols will begin immediately." The embassy shook suddenly. Through the windows, Mason saw warships appearing in the sky. "They're already here," he said, grabbing Lisa's arm. They were waiting for the vote. This was decided before we even spoke, Lisa realized, her face pale. Alarms blared throughout the embassy. A security officer burst into the room. "Captain, diplomat, we need to evacuate now. Council forces are landing." Mason pulled Lisa toward the exit as the first explosions rocked the building. The colonies, Lisa said as they ran. Earth, we need to warn them. Mason activated his emergency communicator. This is Captain John Mason. Emergency code black. The Council has voted for extinction. I repeat, the Council has voted for human extinction. This is not a drill. As they reached the emergency shuttle, Mason looked back at the burning embassy. The first battle in a war for human survival had begun. Admiral Kate Bell stood on the bridge of the EDF Defiant, watching the display as red dots appeared throughout the solar system. Council warships were emerging from jump points near every human colony. Her hands gripped the command rail until her knuckles turned white. Status report, she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding. Mars colony is under heavy bombardment, replied her second-in-command. Europa Station reports multiple hostiles. Earth's orbital defenses are tracking 50-plus enemy vessels approaching. Bell had trained for war her entire career, but not like this. Not against the entire Galactic Council. Send the alert to all ships, she said. Execute Protocol Omega. The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Protocol Omega was a contingency plan created by Earth's military strategists, but never revealed to the Council. Many thought it was just a theory, never meant to be implemented. Admiral, said Communications Officer Ryan Peters, we're receiving emergency transmissions from the Mars colony. They're gone, ma'am. The Council forces used some kind of energy weapon. The whole dome collapsed. Bell closed her eyes for a moment. 10,000 people lived in that colony. Europa Station, she asked. No response. The bridge fell silent. Bell took a deep breath. Lieutenant, contact the President. Tell him to activate the shield. On Earth, President Daniel Harris stood in the underground command center beneath the White House. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he placed his palm on the scanner. Voice authorization required, said the computer. President Daniel Harris. Authorization code. Thermopyla. A holographic display showed a massive energy field beginning to form around Earth. For years, humanity had been installing emitters in secret locations around the planet, disguised as communication towers or research stations. The Council representatives who occasionally visited Earth never suspected that humans were building a planetary shield. It was a technology the Council had deemed unnecessary for younger species. Shield at 40% and rising, reported General Frank Wright. But sir, even at full power, it won't hold forever against their weapons. It doesn't need to, Harris replied. It just needs to buy us time. In orbit around the moon, Dr. Alex Rivera worked frantically at the main computer terminal of Luna Base. Alarms blared as Council ships approached. Most of the science staff had already evacuated, but Rivera remained. Come on, he muttered, watching the progress bar on his screen. The data upload to the hidden quantum servers was at 68%. A soldier appeared at the lab door. Doctor, we need to go now. Enemy troops have breached the lower levels. 2 more minutes, Rivera insisted. Project Phoenix has to be completed. It's humanity's only hope if we lose Earth. The soldier took up a defensive position at the door as Rivera continued the upload. Project Phoenix contained the sum total of human knowledge, scientific research, and cultural records. But it was more than just an archive. Much more. Back on the Defiant, Admiral Bell watched as her outnumbered fleet engaged the Council forces near Jupiter. Earth's ships were newer but less advanced than the alien vessels. Yet they fought with unexpected tactics, splitting into smaller groups, using Jupiter's moons for cover. Deploy the quantum buoys, Bell ordered. Small, unassuming devices launched from the human ships, scattering throughout the solar system. The Council would think they were merely communication relays, but they served a more important purpose. In the Kuiper Belt, far beyond Neptune, Commander Sam Wilson received Bell's encrypted signal. He stood inside a massive asteroid that had been hollowed out decades ago, looking at hundreds of ships that officially didn't exist. It's time, he told his crew. The Council thinks they know humanity's strength. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Wilson activated the shipyard systems. Lights came on inside the massive cavern, illuminating row after row of warships. The Ghost Fleet, built in secret, using reverse-engineered alien technology combined with human ingenuity. "Prepare all ships for launch," he ordered. "We're joining the fight." As Council forces closed in on Earth, thinking victory was near, humanity's real defense was just beginning. 3 weeks after the Council's attack began, Earth remained under siege. The planetary shield flickered as it absorbed another barrage of alien weapons fire. Inside the shield, the remaining defense forces worked tirelessly to prepare for the moment when the protection would finally fail. In an underground bunker beneath Chicago, Colonel Grace Martinez inspected her team of resistance fighters. The men and women before her had been civilians just weeks ago. Now they were Earth's last line of defense. "The Council forces will break through the shield within days," Martinez told them. "When they do, they'll send ground troops to secure major cities. That's when we hit them." She pointed to the map on the wall. "Small teams, quick strikes. We take their equipment and disappear. We make them afraid to walk on our planet." A young soldier raised his hand. "But Colonel, their weapons are so advanced. How can we fight them?" Martinez smiled slightly. "Because we know something they don't. Humans have been preparing for this day for years." Far beyond the battle at Earth, Commander Sam Wilson's Ghost Fleet moved silently through space. The ships were unlike any seen before, part human design, part reverse-engineered alien technology, and entirely invisible to Council detection systems. Wilson stood on the bridge of the lead ship, the Spectre. "Status report on the Council supply convoy." His tactical officer checked the sensors. 5 minutes from our position, sir. 6 transport ships with only 2 escorts." Wilson nodded. "Perfect. Prepare all ships for attack pattern Delta. Remember, no communications. We move as planned." The Ghost Fleet had been designed with one purpose: to strike hard and vanish before the enemy could respond. Today would be their first real test. On the remnants of Luna Base, Dr. Rivera worked in a hidden sublevel that had survived the Council attack. The Project Phoenix upload had completed just before the main facility fell. Now he was working on the second phase. "System check complete," the computer announced. "Oracle Neural Network online." A holographic interface appeared before Rivera, pulsing gently with blue light. "Oracle," Rivera said, "analyze Council attack patterns and identify weaknesses." The artificial intelligence, created from the combined knowledge of humanity and enhanced with quantum computing, began to process the request. It was the most advanced AI ever created, designed to think in ways no human or alien could. Analysis complete, Oracle responded after just seconds. Council forces utilize standardized tactics across all battlefronts. They rely heavily on their technological superiority and have no contingencies for extended resistance. Rivera smiled. "And their communication network? Vulnerable to targeted quantum disruption at these coordinates," Oracle said, displaying a complex star map with key points highlighted. "Send this data to Admiral Bell immediately," Rivera ordered, "and begin work on Project Nemesis." In orbit around Jupiter, the battle continued. Admiral Bell's fleet had been reduced to half its original size, but they had inflicted significant damage on the Council forces. The Defiant took another hit, shaking the bridge violently. "Hull breach on Deck 4, reported an officer. "Emergency bulkheads holding." Bell steadied herself against her command chair. "Status of the Quantum Buoys. All in position and operational, Admiral." Bell nodded. "Send the signal to Wilson. It's time to show the Council what they're really dealing with." As the signal went out, the Ghost Fleet sprang into action. The ships appeared seemingly from nowhere, surrounding the Council's supply convoy. The alien vessels had no time to react before the human weapons tore through their shields. Within minutes, the entire convoy was destroyed or disabled. The Ghost Fleet collected the valuable supplies, then vanished back into the darkness of space, leaving confused Council commanders to wonder what had happened. On the Council command ship, High Counselor Zixtar received the reports with growing concern. "Impossible," he hissed. "The humans should have fallen by now." His aide, a nervous Xorilian, approached cautiously. "High Counselor, we've lost contact with our ground forces on Mars, and there are reports of human ships attacking our supply lines near Saturn." Zixtar's eyes narrowed. "How many ships do they have? Where are they coming from?" "We don't know, sir. They appear and disappear at will." For the first time since the conflict began, Zixtar felt something he had not expected to feel when dealing with humans: doubt. 6 months into the war, humanity was still fighting. What the Council had planned as a quick extinction had turned into a prolonged conflict. Earth's shield had finally failed after 2 months, but when Council forces landed, they found empty cities and a resistance that seemed to know their every move before they made it. Captain John Mason and Lisa Carter had made it back to Earth just before the shield went up. Now they led a resistance cell operating out of the ruins of Boston. Their team moved through the underground tunnels, weapons ready. "Oracle says there's a Council command post 2 blocks ahead," Mason whispered. The small device on his wrist provided real-time intelligence from the AI system. Lisa checked her weapon. "Any word on what they're building?" Mason nodded grimly. "That's why we're here." Oracle detected unusual energy readings consistent with a bioweapon. "They're planning to poison our atmosphere." The team moved silently toward the alien outpost. In the 6 months since the war began, humans had become experts at guerrilla warfare. They used the urban landscape as their ally, striking from shadows and disappearing before the aliens could respond. "Remember," Lisa said to the team, "we need their data cores intact. Get in, grab the cores, set the charges, and get out." In orbit, Admiral Bell's reduced fleet battled near Jupiter. The Defiant had been patched up dozens of times, its hull scarred from repeated attacks. But for every human ship lost, they had taken down 3 Council vessels. "New contacts approaching from Sector 7, reported her tactical officer. Bell smiled. "Right on time. All ships, execute Battle Plan Theta." As the Council reinforcements arrived, Wilson's Ghost Fleet appeared behind them. Caught in a crossfire, the alien ships tried to regroup, but the humans had anticipated their standard tactics. "They're breaking formation," Wilson reported from the Spectre. "Their communications are becoming erratic." "Oracle's disruption is working," Bell replied over the secure quantum channel. "Press the advantage." The battle turned decisively in humanity's favor. For the first time in the war, a major Council fleet was in full retreat. On Luna Base, Dr. Rivera stood before a group of Earth's top scientists. The hidden facility had been expanded, becoming the center of humanity's technological resistance. "Project Phoenix was never just about preserving our knowledge," Rivera explained. "Oracle is evolving, learning from every encounter with Council forces. It's developing innovations at a rate no human or alien mind could match." He activated a holographic display showing Oracle's latest creation. "We call this Project Nemesis. It's a targeted electromagnetic pulse that affects only Council technology. Their ships, weapons, and communications will be disabled, but our systems will remain functional." One scientist raised a hand. "How is that possible? Their tech operates on completely different principles." "That's the brilliance of Oracle," Rivera said with pride. "It found a common vulnerability in all Council systems, something they've standardized across their entire infrastructure. A quantum resonance frequency they use for efficiency." Back in Boston, Mason's team infiltrated the Council outpost. The alien guards fell silently to human weapons. Inside the main chamber, they found what they feared: a massive device connected to distribution canisters. "This would have killed everyone within 1,000 miles," Lisa said, examining the bioagent's dispersal system. Mason downloaded the weapon's specifications from the alien computers. "Oracle needs to see this. The Council is getting desperate." As they placed explosive charges around the facility, Mason's wrist device beeped with an incoming message. "Captain Mason, This is Admiral Bell. We've won a major victory at Jupiter. Ghost Fleet performed beyond expectations. But we've also received interesting news. The Vreen are trying to contact us. Mason frowned. The Vreen, the only council species that voted against our extinction. The same. They say the council is fracturing. Some species are questioning the war. Lisa joined Mason as they retreated from the outpost. The Vreen could provide valuable intelligence on council homeworlds. Behind them, the outpost erupted in flames, destroying the bioweapon facility. On the council capital world, Zixtar faced growing dissent. The Ictarillian representative chittered angrily. 6 months, High Counselor. 6 months, and the humans not only survive, but are winning battles. They were supposed to be primitives, added another council member. Yet they have technology we've never seen. Zixtar slammed his fist down. We cannot allow doubt. The humans must be destroyed, or they will destroy us. Prepare the Harbinger fleets. We will end this, whatever the cost. As the council meeting adjourned, no one noticed the Vreen representative quietly sending an encrypted message to Earth. The Vreen ambassador Klevex stood before the Human Leadership Council in the underground facility beneath Denver. His crystalline body sparkled under the lights as he addressed President Harris, Admiral Bell, and the other military leaders. My species voted against your extinction, Klevex said, his translator converting his harmonic language to English. We have always believed in peaceful coexistence. What the Council is doing violates our most sacred principles. President Harris studied the alien carefully. Why come to us now? Why not 8 months ago when the attacks began? Because now you have proven you can win, Klevex replied simply. And because now the Council is planning something terrible, something even we cannot allow. Admiral Bell leaned forward. What are they planning? They are gathering their Harbinger fleets. These are planet killer vessels designed to destroy entire worlds. They plan to use them on Earth within 30 days. The room fell silent. Even with all of humanity's surprising defenses and counterattacks, planet killer weapons were beyond their ability to stop. We need the locations of these fleets, Bell said at last, and the Council homeworlds. Klevex placed a crystal on the table. All the data you need is here, but I must warn you. Attacking Council homeworlds has never been done in the history of the galaxy. Their defenses are formidable. Harris looked at the alien diplomat. So were ours, and yet here we are. In orbit around Mars, Commander Wilson's Ghost Fleet had grown. Ships captured from the Council had been modified with human technology, their crews trained to use the alien vessels against their former owners. The Spectre led a formation of 30 ships toward a hidden rendezvous point. The Vreen intelligence checks out, Wilson told his captains over the secure channel. Council supply depots are exactly where they said they would be. We've hit 3 already. On his main screen, Lisa Carter nodded. Oracle confirms the data appears legitimate. The Vreen have no history of deception in Council records. Can Oracle get past Council homeworld defenses? Wilson asked. It's working on it, Lisa replied. But we need more processing power. Rivera has a plan for that. At Luna Base, Dr. Rivera stood before Oracle's main interface. The AI's holographic form pulsed with increasing complexity as it continued to evolve. You're suggesting we link Oracle to the quantum buoys throughout the system, said his assistant, Dr. Natalie Green. Won't that expose the AI to potential Council attacks? Rivera shook his head. Oracle has developed its own defenses, and the increased processing power from the network will allow it to crack the Council's defense codes. We need this advantage before the Harbinger fleets arrive. He activated the sequence, and Oracle's holographic form expanded, filling the room with points of light that represented its growing consciousness. Integration complete, Oracle announced, its voice deeper and more resonant than before. I now have access to all data from human resistance cells across Earth and the colonies, beginning analysis of Council homeworld defenses. On Earth, Colonel Martinez led a daring raid on a Council landing zone near the ruins of Washington, D.C. Her resistance fighters, moved like shadows through the damaged buildings. "Remember the plan," she told her team over their secure comms. "We're not here to fight. We're here to steal their ships." The Council had grown overconfident, leaving their smaller vessels with minimal security. As night fell, Martinez's team moved in, silently eliminating the guards and boarding the alien craft. "These will be perfect for Operation Thunderstrike," Martinez said as her engineers worked to bypass the alien security systems. "The Council won't expect their own ships to attack them." Admiral Bell reviewed the battle plans aboard the Defiant. Oracle had developed strategies based on historical Earth military tactics that the Council had never encountered: blitzkrieg, guerrilla warfare, and now a massive coordinated assault called Operation Thunderstrike. "It's risky," Bell told her officers. "Hitting all Council forces simultaneously across the solar system will stretch our resources thin." "But if it works," her second-in-command added, "we'll cripple their ability to support the Harbinger fleets when they arrive." Bell nodded. "Send the order. Operation Thunderstrike begins at 600 tomorrow." On the Council capital world, Zixtar received disturbing news. Another Council member, the leader of the Draxid, had been assassinated by his own people. "They blame him for the war's failure," his aide reported. 3 other Council species are now calling for peace negotiations with the humans. Zixtar's eyes narrowed dangerously. "There will be no peace. Ready my ship. I will personally oversee the Harbinger fleet's deployment." 1 year into the war, humanity had reclaimed most of its colonies and pushed Council forces back to the edges of the solar system. Operation Thunderstrike had succeeded beyond all expectations. Using stolen Council vessels alongside their own ships, humans had struck simultaneously at every Council outpost, supply depot, and fleet in the system. Captain Mason stood on the bridge of a captured Council cruiser, which he had renamed Redemption. The alien technology had been modified with human interfaces, allowing his crew to control the powerful vessel. "Status report on the Harbinger fleets," he asked his tactical officer. "Oracle reports they're gathering at Rigel, sir, 5 days from arrival at Earth." Mason nodded. "And Project Nemesis?" "Dr. Rivera says it's ready for deployment. They're just waiting for all ships to be equipped with the protective shielding." Project Nemesis had evolved from theory to reality. A weapon that could temporarily disable all Council technology while leaving human systems untouched. It was humanity's trump card, developed by Oracle after months of analyzing Council technology. On Luna Base, Dr. Rivera finished briefing President Harris and Admiral Bell on the final phase of the plan. "Once Project Nemesis is deployed," Rivera explained, "Council ships will lose power for approximately 6 hours. Their weapons, shields, and life support will all fail. Their crews will survive." President Harris asked. Rivera nodded. "Yes, this isn't about extinction. It's about victory." Bell studied the battle plans Oracle had developed. 6 hours is enough time for Ghost Fleet to strike at their command ships. But what about after? "They'll regroup. That's where Operation Sundown comes in," Rivera said, activating a holographic display of the Council homeworlds. "While their fleets are disabled, Special Forces teams led by Captain Mason and Colonel Martinez will infiltrate their capital world." President Harris looked troubled. "The Council tried to exterminate us. Many would say we should do the same to them." "We're better than that," Bell replied. "We're not fighting for revenge. We're fighting to survive." Harris nodded slowly. "Approve the operation, but make it clear to all commanders. We want surrender, not annihilation." In the Ghost Fleet's main hangar, Commander Wilson inspected the Special Forces teams, 100 of Earth's best soldiers, equipped with advanced suits that combined human and Council technology. "Once you're on the ground," Wilson told them, "you'll have 6 hours to reach the Council chamber and secure the High Council before their systems come back online." Colonel Martinez checked her equipment. "My team will take the planetary defense grid. Mason's team will head for the Council chamber. The Vreen have provided access codes and maps," Wilson continued. "But expect resistance. Not all their weapons are electronic. Lisa Carter, now serving as the mission's intelligence officer, stepped forward. Our primary target is High Counselor Six-Tar. Oracle believes he's the driving force behind the extinction order. With him in custody, other council members may be more willing to negotiate. Aboard the Defiant, Admiral Bell addressed the combined human fleet. Ships of all sizes filled the view screen, from small, swift attack craft to the massive vessels of the Ghost Fleet. "Today, we take the fight to the Council," she said, her voice carrying to every ship. "For 1 year, they have tried to wipe humanity from the galaxy. They failed. Now they will learn why." The fleet moved into position, waiting for the arrival of the Harbinger vessels. Oracle had calculated the precise jump coordinates where the enemy would appear. On the Council capital world of Xanthus Prime, Six-Tar addressed the remaining loyal council members. "The Harbinger fleets will end this human problem once and for all," he assured them. "Their resistance, while surprising, cannot stand against our ultimate weapons." An aide rushed into the chamber, his expression alarmed. "High Counselor, our long-range sensors detect a massive fleet gathering near Rigel." "Impossible," Six-Tar hissed. "The humans cannot know where the Harbinger fleets are assembling." The aide's voice trembled. "It's not just their fleet, sir. We're detecting council vessels among them. Ships we thought were destroyed." For the first time, genuine fear showed in Six-Tar's eyes. The humans weren't just defending anymore. They were bringing the war to the Council itself. In the vast emptiness of space near Rigel, the human fleet waited in perfect formation. At its center, the Defiant powered up its systems. "All ships report ready," Admiral Bell's tactical officer announced. Bell nodded. "Begin Operation Sundown." The Harbinger fleets arrived at Rigel exactly as Oracle had predicted. Massive warships, each capable of destroying a planet, dropped out of faster-than-light travel and immediately formed attack positions. Their commanders expected to find human resistance, but nothing prepared them for what awaited. "All ships in position," reported Bell's tactical officer. "Project Nemesis is armed and ready." "Deploy," Bell ordered simply. From the human fleet, hundreds of small devices launched toward the Council ships. They looked harmless, little more than metal spheres, but each contained technology developed by Oracle. As they approached the massive Harbinger vessels, they activated. A wave of energy, invisible to the eye, but devastating to Council technology, spread throughout the enemy fleet. Ship after ship suddenly went dark, their lights flickering and dying as all systems failed simultaneously. "Nemesis successful," the tactical officer announced. "All Council ships disabled. Countdown shows 6 hours until their systems recover." Bell nodded. "Launch all fighters. Board their command vessels." Across the fleet, pilots raced to their ships. Ghost Fleet vessels moved forward, targeting the largest enemy ships first. Within minutes, human forces were boarding the defenseless Council vessels. On the Council homeworld of Xanthus Prime, the effect was just as dramatic. The planet's defense grid failed. Communication systems went dark. The elaborate technology that Council species had relied on for thousands of years suddenly became useless. In the confusion, stealth ships carrying Mason's and Martinez's teams entered the atmosphere undetected. Using maps provided by the Vreen, they landed near the Council capital city. "Remember," Mason told his team as they moved through the darkened streets, "we have less than 6 hours to secure our objectives before their systems come back online." The team split up. Martins led her soldiers toward the Planetary Defense Control Center, while Mason's group headed for the Council chamber. They met little resistance at first. Most of the Council security forces were in disarray, unused to operating without their advanced technology. The few who challenged them were quickly subdued with non-lethal weapons. They'd never had to fight without tech advantages, Lisa observed as they moved through the grand hallways of the Council building. They don't know how. Mason checked the timer on his wrist. 3 hours left. We need to move faster. In orbit, Admiral Bell directed the boarding operations. Human teams had secured over half the Harbinger fleet. The massive weapons that were meant to destroy Earth were now under human control. "Status report from the surface teams," she asked. "Colonel Martinez has secured the defense grid," her communications officer replied. "Captain Mason is approaching the council chamber now." Mason's team reached the ornate doors of the main council chamber. Unlike most of the complex, these doors had mechanical locks as well as electronic ones, a backup system that now proved valuable to the council, but not insurmountable to the humans. "Breaching charges," Mason ordered. The controlled explosion blew the doors open. Inside, the remaining council members were gathered in emergency session. High Counselor Zix Tor stood at the center, his gray skin pale with fear and fury. "What have you done?" he demanded as Mason's team secured the room. "What you forced us to do," Mason replied, training his weapon on the alien leader. "Adapt." Lisa stepped forward. "In the name of humanity, I am placing you under arrest for crimes against sentient beings and attempted genocide." The other council members did not resist as human soldiers secured them. Many seemed almost relieved that the conflict was ending. "You cannot possibly hope to hold the council worlds," Zix Tor snarled. "There are thousands of our ships throughout the galaxy. They will come." "Let them," Mason said. "Project Nemesis works everywhere. Your technological advantage is gone." On the Defiant, Bell received the message she had been waiting for. "Council chamber secured. High Council in custody. Defense grid under our control. Inform the President," she ordered. "Operation Sundown is a success." On Earth, President Harris addressed the waiting government leaders. "The war is not over, but the tide has turned decisively. The Council leadership has been captured. Their planet-killer weapons have been neutralized." "And now?" asked his vice president. Harris looked at the display showing human forces in control of the council capital. "Now we show them who we really are. Not by exterminating them as they tried to do to us, but by building something better." In the council archives on Santhus Prime, Oracle made a discovery that would change everything. The data revealed the council's greatest secret. For thousands of years, they had systematically suppressed the technological development of all other species, ensuring their continued dominance. Until they met humans. 6 months after Operation Sundown, representatives from every spacefaring species gathered on Earth. The Grand Meeting Hall had been built specifically for this historic occasion. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, falling on delegates from worlds humans had never seen before the war. President Harris stood at the center podium, facing the assembled aliens. Behind him stood Admiral Bell, Captain Mason, Lisa Carter, Colonel Martinez, Commander Wilson, and Dr. Rivera. They had become heroes to humanity and infamous figures to the former Council species. 1 year ago, the Galactic Council voted to exterminate humanity, Harris began. "They didn't live to regret that decision. Not because we destroyed them, but because we chose a different path." The captured High Counselor, Zix Tor, sat in the front row, under guard, but treated with dignity. His once proud posture was now bent with the weight of defeat. "Today, I formally announce the dissolution of the Galactic Council," Harris continued. "In its place, we establish the Galactic Alliance, where all species, regardless of technological development, have equal representation." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Many former Council species had expected punishment, not partnership. "The archives revealed the truth," Harris said. "For 12,000 years, the Council suppressed technology, limited exploration, and controlled the development of every species they encountered. They feared what they couldn't control." The Vreen ambassador, Klovex, moved to the podium. "As the only former Council member who opposed humanity's extinction, I fully support this new alliance. The old ways kept us stagnant. Humanity has shown us a better path." In the months since the Council's defeat, Oracle had continued to analyze the vast archives from Santhus Prime. The AI had discovered thousands of suppressed technologies that could benefit all species. These innovations were now being freely shared. Mason sat beside Lisa, watching as representatives signed the new alliance charter. "Hard to believe it's been only a year and a half since we watched them vote to kill us all," he said quietly. Lisa nodded. "They never understood what makes humans different. We don't just adapt, we help others adapt too." Dr. Rivera approached them, his face showing the fatigue of months of work. "Oracle has finished the integration with the Galactic Network. It's now accessible to all Alliance members as a knowledge repository, not a weapon." Project Phoenix had fulfilled its purpose. What began as a desperate backup of human knowledge had evolved into a galaxy-wide system for sharing information and fostering cooperation. Admiral Bell joined their conversation. "The former Council ships have all been converted to Alliance vessels. Joint crews, humans working alongside other species. It's working better than I expected." Outside the hall, ordinary humans watched the proceedings on large screens. Children played alongside alien youngsters, neither group aware of how close they had come to never knowing each other. Colonel Martinez stood at the edge of the crowd, still vigilant despite the peace. "Do you think it will last?" she asked Wilson as he approached. "It has to," he replied. "We've shown what happens when species try to dominate rather than cooperate." The Ghost Fleet had been transformed into exploration vessels, searching for other species that had been hidden or suppressed by the Council. Already, 3 new civilizations had been welcomed into the Alliance. As the signing ceremony concluded, President Harris invited Zixtar to approach the podium. The crowd fell silent, wondering what would happen. "You tried to destroy us," Harris said to the former High Counselor, "by your own laws. That warrants execution." Zixtar's eyes lowered in acceptance of his fate. "But those aren't our laws," Harris continued. "Instead, you will help rebuild what your council destroyed. You will work with the species you suppressed, learn from them, grow with them." Zixtar looked up in surprise. "You're offering mercy. We're offering a future," Harris replied. "Something your council never truly had. You feared change, so you stagnated. We embrace it, and so we thrive." As the sun set on the first day of the Galactic Alliance, Mason and Lisa walked through the gardens outside the meeting hall. In the sky above, ships from dozens of worlds moved peacefully in orbit. "What do you think happens now?" Lisa asked. Mason smiled, looking up at the stars. Now we do what humans have always done best. We explore, we learn, we grow, and we never forget how close we came to losing it all," Lisa added. Among the stars, the new Alliance ships began their journeys, carrying the message that the age of suppression was over. The galaxy would never be the same again. And that was exactly what humanity had fought for.